The world will never respect Africa until Nigeria earns that respect. The black people of the world are looking up to Nigeria to be a source of pride and confidence. Every Nigerian citizen should be made to understand this truth. I am sure you're not hearing this for the first time. That was Mandela. And Mandela has been dead how many years?
Alero.
This is a charge, Doyin.
Alero, just wait now. Alero, there is no doubt that, in this country, this is the largest population of black people on the surface of the earth. So, there's so much that is expected from this country. But unfortunately, the foundations of the country was wrong. The propagation thereafter was wrong. What we're still doing is wrong. So, really speaking, we must speak the truth to ourselves. Nigerians' problem, maybe for Osita, if we just tell Osita that, look, this government of President Muhammad Buhari is doing excellently well, he's doing very well, he's fighting corruption, fighting Boko Haram, he can just relax and rest. But, I thought, really speaking, what we're supposed to be discussing here is about, 57 years of independence. How far have we gone? In this country, we do not obey the rule of law. There's no society in the world that can become great without any respect for rule of law. It is so fundamental. Individual and economic liberties are essential pillars of development and progress. You understand my point? Now, if we do not pay attention, look, till today, when people go for campaign, people still, after 57 years of independence, people still use machete and guns at campaign grounds. There's no election that is not with fraud. As if people cannot. Osita talks about tenure. What's the use of a tenure when voting really does not matter? I'm not talking about a particular political party. I've been part of the process, but I am one of those politicians who believe that once you campaign, the night of when you stop campaigning, the night before the election, your job as a politician ends. You just go next day, go and vote, and let us accept whatever people, whatever people say with their votes. We have not reached there yet. So so these are the problems.
We're getting there, right?
We are still very far, Aleron, sadly. I'm telling you, I'm a practitioner and I'm part of it.
But Doyin, I thought that at the last election, the people's votes counted.
Look, that is what you saw, all right? And I don't want to talk about the last election, because it will look as if, that was the election which I was. Let's talk about other elections. Yeah, I'm not, it's nothing, if we must discuss Nigeria, we must be able to discuss it objectively. That, and the fact that somebody participated in the last election does not mean that he cannot see what is wrong, even in the government in which he served, or what is going on currently, or what we did wrong ever before that. Well, it is the collective decision of the Nigerian elites have not agreed. The fact that I'm a Christian is a problem in certain areas. The fact that you are a Muslim is a problem in certain areas. We are not even fair to ourselves. People in the Middle Belt, who are Christians, are being killed, being marginalized. Nobody hears about it. Nobody talks about it. We are not. The elites in the country are dishonest. We lie to each other. People. There was a time that General Buhari was sick.
We're glad you are the one saying this.
Yes, I should be the one saying it because we are the people who practice this. We are the people at the side to. We are the people at the.
So what are you going to do, you and your fellow elites? What would you do to make a difference going forward?
Number one, we must first of all reject lying. Do you understand? Look, when Buhari was sick, can I say, let me explain to you. When Buhari was sick,
something must happen to change
when Buhari was sick, some people took arms and said he should resign, he should do this, which was not true. We have an agreement that when the North is president this time, next time it will be South. So if the North is president today and the person is sick, and you say you should go so that you can take it over, it is wrong. It's fraudulent. So also is when if we say we want restructure, because if if you know that when we restructure, it's going to affect your economic viability in your state. You say those who are asking for restructure, they don't know what they're talking about. That is deception. Let us come to a table. I don't want, I mean, I think this restructure is a good idea. But, my state or my area is going to suffer. How can we negate such things?
Balance.
Yeah, the Nigerian elites take to wrong. Number one, what they say publicly is different from what they mean in their hearts, and it's different from what they do, either in government or in their conclaves. These are the issues.
Before we leave here, I hope we'll have enough time so that you tell us what you mean word for word. That will be your last statement.
If you want to keep me here till tomorrow, I'm ready.
My position really is,
like I harped on the issue of leadership, knowledgeable leadership. Knowledge is number one thing. Knowledge must be functional. It's not with PhD or being a prophet. It's functional knowledge. A good cook will know the names and the functions and virtues of various condiments that he must deploy to make a pot of soup. 1. 2, all the condiments must be subjected to the same temperature, even if differentially, such that you can put pomo or stockfish first. It will be boiling. Then vegetable might come in 5 minutes to the end of the cooking.
But
they must be subjected to the same temperature. That is when they will form a soup, a pot of soup. The reasoning behind what I'm saying, we have ethnic nationalities, different religions, and so on. We are differentially experiencing pain and pleasure. And so that is why we have a cacophony of opinions on issues. Restructuring is a very simple, straightforward issue. The president had just come back from restructuring himself at London. And he was there negotiating with God for his life, to spare him for a longer life. What's wrong with that? Nigerian unity can be negotiated, contrary to what people are saying here. But we must agree, like politics is conflict within consensus. Because if it becomes without consensus, there will be no center. All the forces must converge. But differentially, you come with your opinion, motley of opinions, but harmonized, for us to form a single, thrust. Do you know the inertia that happens to a car when you put gear? But the gear must be higher than the inertia to move the car forward. There's negotiation for that to happen. So what we are saying is that restructuring and structuring, that is a phenomenon that go on every now and then. As I'm sitting down, what I ate, for it to be accommodated in my stomach, and for digestion and assimilation to take place, there must be restructuring of the architecture of my tummy before I ate. So the point we are making is, these are very simple things, and if you are so distant from nature, you can't move forward, because everything that is divorced from nature, it does not work. Leadership will help us to galvanize the assets we have in different religions and so on. It happened in Russia, USSR. We had somebody like Gorbachev. Today we know about perestroika, we know about glasnost and so on. Now, at the end of the day, somebody will do this thing that we are clamoring today, effortlessly and willingly.
Indeed.
And Nigeria will move forward.
Indeed.
So those who have the opportunity today can write their names into the history of this country with gold. If they refuse it, the mango will fall when it ripes.